Okay, so this is a new tutorial series, uh, and yeah, so let's get started with it. So as I said before in the previous video, first you can download this RTS game starter kit from GitHub. Either you can clone it by using GitHub, or you can download it as a zip. So once you've done that, open that project. So you will see this initial starter kit on your engine. So we can use this starter kit to start with our real-time strategy game. So basically this include all the necessary stuff that we will need in future episodes, such as especially these low poly assets. So it contains several types of buildings and characters, also resource types, and their required textures, also these tool types as well, and the materials that we need to design our level, such as in landscape materials and building materials, are also included, plus the sounds that you require also included, such as wood chopping sounds and stone mining sounds, stuff like that. Also the necessary UI textures that we need to develop our user interface of the game also included, such as the button textures, credit screens, icons, stuff like that. Okay, so download or clone that RTS game starter kit from GitHub. I will put the link below in this video as well. So once you've done that, basically we can start with creating our game. So first let's create a new project. So I'll select games, click next, and yeah, so let's start with blank project. If you want, you can start with any other template as well, but we don't need any of these base projects, so that's why I'm going to start with blank project. Let's click next. Okay, make sure to not to use any starter content, but if you want, yes, you can do that as well. And if you are willing to go with C++, you can choose this thing, but for the convenience I will use entirely blueprint approach, so I will choose this blueprint option over here. You can enable ray tracing as well if you want, and if you're targeting a desktop or a mobile platform, based on that you can choose whatever the required platform as well, but we are going to use this desktop and console platform, so I will choose that option by default. And yeah, so I will make this project as maybe RTS game. So you can name your project whatever name you want, and once you're done with the initial configurations, click create project. Okay, so the new project has been created. So as you can see, there is no content initially, but we have to migrate that RTS starter kit to our project. So you can do that simply by going to the RTS game kit. So let me bring that window to this screen, and let's go to the content and let's right click, migrate. So make sure to select everything under this folder. Let's click OK. Okay, so let's go to the project directory, which is this one. Let's go to the content folder, and make sure to select this content folder, otherwise it may invoke some dependency issues. Then yeah, let's select this folder and let's start migrating. It will take a while, so let's see. Okay, so just ignore these sort of issues. These are default warnings that will give, but yeah, I think the project has been successfully migrated, so we can safely close this RTS game starter kit because the entire thing is now in this RTS game. Okay, so all the assets are there, materials, sounds, UI elements, everything is there. Okay, now let's create or let's initialize our initial game framework. Okay, so in order to do that, first let's create a root folder called RTS game, and inside this folder I'll create a folder called props, and I will move this RTS game starter kit to within that props folder. So you can manage all of your props within that folder, so it will be a bit organized. Okay. Okay, so the entire content has been now moved at this props folder to this props folder. Yeah, so everything is there. Then let's go to the root directory again, and let's create another folder called blueprints. So all the necessary blueprint related classes and object instances will be initialized over here. And let's create another folder called data. So all the relevant enumerations, structures, data assets, data tables, all the data related stuff will be at this folder. So for now I will create a dummy folder called enum and structs. Okay, let's rename this as maybe enums. Okay, then the next thing is levels, or you can name it as maps as well, but I will, yeah, maybe I will rename this as maps, but it's up to you to choose a proper naming convention. And lastly we need another folder for our UI elements, so all the necessary menu items and buttons, pop-up bars, things like that will be over here. Okay, and so since we have this level, maybe let's save this on this maps folder. So I will create a new folder called maybe test map, and within that folder I will save this as test map. Okay, so you can see our map is over here. Then let's go to the project settings, and under maps and modes, here you can see by default it is starting with template default map, because initially we didn't have any map, but now you can choose this test map as the default map. So whenever you start your engine again, it will start with this map. Okay, then we have to set up this game mode and game instances as well. So let's set up those stuffs. Yeah, so you can go to the blueprint folder, and on the blueprint folder let's create a new folder called game base. So this folder holds all the necessary base artifacts of your game, such as a game instance or game modes. It can be player controller or HUD, things like that, right? So this is a very critical directory, because it serves a lot of purposes for us later on. But for now, let's create a blueprint class which is a game mode base, and I'll name this as bp underscore RTS game GM. GM stand for game mode. Then you can assign this game mode to here like that, or you can click this drop down and select this one. Okay, so game mode has been created, and let's create a game instance as well. Go to all classes and search for game instance, and select that one, bp RTS game instance. and let's assign that game instance to here, game instance class. Okay. One other thing, if you don't see this window by default, you can simply go to the settings and go to the project settings, so it will open up this window for you. Okay, and yeah, the game instance has been already assigned as well. The game instance is basically helpful for our save game and progressions and stuff like that, and it will be helpful to state transitions when you are jumping in between several levels as well. Okay, basically most of the time it will serve for loading and saving progressions. Okay, and in the game mode, if you open that blueprint, let me bring that window over here. You can see there are several stuff that is need to be configured, especially this player controller class and HUD class and the default pawn class. So let's set up those stuffs as well. So let's create a player controller for BP RTS game PC. So basically this will handle all the necessary player controlling stuff like inputs, mappings and stuff like that. And let's go to the game mode and assign that player controller. And we need a HUD class. Let's go to the blueprint and search for HUD, and we can use this thing, and let's name it as BP RTS game HUD, and we can assign that HUD class over here. And we need a default pawn class as well, which is like the generic pawn that is controlled by the player. But we will create this pawn class in the next episode maybe, because it involves certain logics we need to be familiar with. So therefore I'm not going to create that pawn class yet. But yeah, we need to create a default pawn class as well. So let's compile and save. Yeah, I think that's it. And yeah, maybe you can create a game state as well to save your current game states. Let's create a game state base, and I will name this as BP RTS game GS. This stands for game state. So most of the time we can use this game state and the game instance interchangeably to achieve our loading and saving like activities. But yeah, it's better to have this class instance as well. And let's go to the game mode again and assign that game state class over here. Okay, let's compile and save. Yeah, I think that's the initial configurations that we need to be initialized in RTS game project. And yeah, so in the next video we'll see how we can construct a default pawn class and how we can assign it to our game mode. And yeah, so thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.